Welcome back to the Chosen Life Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan Hacohen, lawyer, Kormans LLP law firm for real estate and corporate needs. As well, we do wills and power of attorneys, and author Bible 3.0. And I am back with our favorite guy. This guy is a barrel of laughs.
Love you, bud.
I love you, man. From Forest Hill, Aurora, he's the one and only Barak. Barak, welcome back to the Chosen Life.
Thank you for having me back. Appreciate it.
So, Barak, we're not sponsored by Chalva here, but
You gotta kill me about that one.
the thing is, so I have it on standby. Why I have not had the Chalva with the Turkish coffee is because after our taping, we're in Aurora right now. I have to race back over down to the Vaughan Mills area because I have a date with my trainer, John, and over at VSC, Vaughan Strength and Conditioning 3.0, they got the new location up and running.
I saw they got a new location going.
So I made the decision months ago that when I am ready, I'm going to go and work out with John. And John is, we've been doing twice a week forever.
Nice.
I like to train with Jared. And we're going to go to 3 times a week.
Nice.
So I made the commitment. I am going to have a trainer 3 times a week.
That's
so,
awesome.
buddy,
Love that.
you understand better than anybody.
Don't I know it?
So you and I, brothers from different mothers, we meet through Forest Hill originally, right?
Yeah.
And then one day, I don't do the classes, but one time I come to do a class 6 in the morning back at VSC 2.0 before they moved over to the Vaughan Mills area. And I get a tap on my shoulder. And who do I see? Buddy, how are you? You come training like me. It was you, Barak,
But
man.
you forgot one crucial point. You forgot one crucial point when you came to me at Forest Hill Vaughan and you're like, Brock, time to do something about it. You gotta start losing weight. Well, wait, you said it in a good way. And actually, I took it and then he told me, come to this class tomorrow. I'm gonna be there.
And it's funny. Now I remember that conversation. That's right. You reminded me because when we were talking about it, you said you used to go to VSC all the time and you were very active there. And I came to you. I remember having that conversation. I said, I love you like a brother, so don't take this personally.
Yeah.
I said, bro, I look at you today. I see a guy who looks like he's 55. You go and do what you need to do. You're going to look like you're 30. And I remember seeing you at VSC after that.
Yeah.
And man, you have not stopped since. And I don't see that 55-year-old Barak anymore. I see 30-year-old sexy Barak. What brought you originally to VSC? What was your journey in fitness? Tell me all about it, please.
Well, first of all, you're the one who brought me to VSC, so big shout out to you. 'Cause you literally opened the floodgates. Like we said, you told me, Brock, start taking care of yourself. I was about 60 pounds heavier than I am now. Fat, not muscle. And
It was baby fat. When, your babies and they get still, I told you it was just
kind
baby
of.
fat.
Let's just put it this way. I came to a point where when I felt the back rolls on my back rolling when I was sitting and driving, that drove me nuts. And that's when I'm like, okay, something needs to change here. Can't keep going that way. And you told me about VSC. You told me, come try. 6 a.m., come meet me there. Like, you know what do I have to lose? We did it, and it literally opened up the floodgates. VSC, they were off the CrossFit field. Same idea as CrossFit, not affiliated, but they did the same type of workouts. And after so many years of trying to work out or getting into fitness, this was the one fitness stream that really stuck, like that barbells and lifts and all that combination of stuff. And I think that's what kept me going the most. It wasn't like you go into a gym and, okay, now let me figure out what I want to do or pay a ton of money for personal training in a regular gym. This is more like, okay, there's a plan for me in place. Everything is already thought out. All I got to do is show up. All right.
I'm getting goosebumps right now, Barak, because I feel like I'm like the guy who brought Tiger Woods to golf. I had the misconception in my mind that you had been at VSC before, you knew about VSC.
No.
Wow, so the universe did bring us together.
Literally. I worked with Jared. Shout out to Jared.
Based in Rush 33, pro wrestler, trainer.
There you go. So he was my personal training for a bit. Now, again, the thing with personal training, they put a plan for you, but I'm a people's person. I need to be out there and to talk to people. So going to the CrossFit gym, which Jared was a part owner or still is part owner there, gave me a whole different vibe, different environment, different everything. And within time, we actually ended up forming a little group there of a few people, and we kept pushing one another and all that. It was a lot of fun. it definitely it changed my lifestyle altogether. That's when I started to especially I think more so in the last couple of years when I took it even more serious. The last 2 years was when I saw the most amount of change in my body and mentally. I've really taken fitness to the next level when it comes to that. Really pushing myself harder than ever, whether it's through fitness and nutrition and all that kind of stuff. It's been a dime. It's a lot of blood,
sweat, tears.
Quite literally.
I promised you I was going to share with you. So we got Arnold playing in the background. We had Arnold, younger Arnold training in the back. Now we have Arnold here posing. There's a reason why I put Arnold up. And the reason being is, when we want to hear about other people's journeys, we look within ourselves. When I hear your story, I start thinking about my story. And for me, it was 11, 12-year-old Jonathan that his brother gave him the old Arnold Schwarzenegger workout book, the encyclopedia, the Arnold Schwarzenegger encyclopedia. I ripped out pages from there, and I had in my basement at the time, and I put it all over the room. I had those yellow York weights, that everybody had. Those sand ones, right? And that's where it all began for me, was Arnold. Looking at the Arnold Schwarzenegger encyclopedia and saying, I want to be Arnold, and motivating me, and slowly, going to a gym and training there with buddies, having a couple personal training sessions, and then going to university, falling off the map and not coming back until my 30s, But it's funny because depending on what age you start at, the younger you go, the easier it is to go back, so to speak. Yeah. What was your age? What was your age as far as when you first got exposed to training, fitness?
I think that when I first got exposed to a gym, I think I was honestly around 11, 12 years old. Back in Israel, we had membership at this kind of place where there's a pool and all that kind of stuff. They had a gym. So I used to go into the gym and kind of mess around with the weights. Again, back then it's like, okay, let me get the big arms just to show everybody I got big arms. Not thinking about everything else. But that was like when I just first got exposed to it. And then when I moved to Canada, there was Extreme Fitness back then. So I used to go there a bit. But again, the problem was that it was always like, okay, 2-3 months stops, and then you fall off the wagon. And then a year goes by, okay, I need to work out again, 2 or 3 months. And all you're doing throughout this whole time is you're donating to the Extreme Fitness funds or the Good Life Fitness funds and all that, because you're forgetting about those memberships. But nothing ever resonated with me. That's the thing. Like, I just went in, sure, I pumped a little bit of iron, but that's as far as it went. To me, it's not really fitness. To me, fitness is, being able to go out for a run for a few kilometers and actually be good. Fitness is to be able to play with my kids outside and not tire out, like, oh, my back hurts, and, sure, I look good, but I can't run a kilometer or stuff like that. Again, not to say one is worse than the other, but that's just my opinion. I like to be able to, use my body to its full capacity.
So VSC was basically your gateway to start taking it to that next level.
100%. They were my gateway to the whole CrossFit world.
Yeah.
And then because of conflict of schedule and everything else, I had to switch over to CrossFit Aurora Central. Also an amazing gym, amazing crew out there. Shout out to Ryan and Michelle. They have a really good gym out there, and their programming really allowed me to push it even harder, whether it came to the weights I was pushing. Now, finally, after a while, I've been able to actually bring 245 pounds over my head, and that was impressive. But I'm able to do a lot more things that I was able before, climbing a rope, stuff like that. Again, being able to use my body to its full capacity, and that's what I like.
And that's where I talk about in my book, The Bible 3.0. It's built on the 6 commandments: exercise, nutrition, sleep, water, yoga, meditation. In my estimation, if you're doing those 6 things in life, you're well on your way to enlightenment. Like, then you got the foundation. And one of the things I talk about as far as fitness goes, as far as exercise goes, the example I give, let's go back to Tiger Woods, right?
All right.
Tiger Woods, best golfer of his generation, right? Won how many tournaments? So the guy knows golf, right? Mm-hmm. Silly me, but question, Tiger Woods has a coach?
I'm sure he does, yeah.
Always had a coach, right?
Yeah.
Roger Federer, best tennis player probably of all time, has a coach?
Yeah.
So if you're the best golfer, you're the best tennis player, and they have coaches, what does it tell us that we're not the best in our respective fields? I tell people, you can go to a gym and spend $8 a month, great, and maybe you'll get something out of it, But until you get to the point where either you're doing personal training or you're doing classes and you're learning routine, you're learning, I'm supposed to do these exercises, this reps, this weight, this many times, and I'm supposed to break it up over X amount of days. Like one of the things is if you're going to do things randomly in a gym and not understanding in what order and why you're doing them, you're probably not going to get very far. You're going to have to work a lot harder to get a lot less results. Once you get to the point that you understand what you're supposed to do, when to do it, and how to do it, and have somebody pushing you a little bit, it's amazing how much you could take off. Did you find the same thing for yourself through personal training and from group classes?
100%. That helped a lot, but it's also understanding why. So it's one thing when they tell you, okay, do this many reps, doing this, but it's also when the coach explains to you why you're doing it, right? When a coach comes and tells you, okay, we're gonna do some sort of a lift and it's really gonna work this muscle and that muscle and this is how it's gonna look and feel, like, okay, now it all makes sense and it gets connected, right? Versus, okay, do 5 of this. And you're like, okay, but how, what? You know, moving all the little movements. Huge difference. You have to have a coach. Like to be able to have someone there, do this, here's the plan, here's what we're doing this week, here's what you should be concentrating on. Whether this week we're gonna go lighter or heavier, we're gonna go this, we're gonna do that, but someone's guiding you, right? You have to have that. Anywhere in life, you go, I always have guidance. Ever since we're babies and coming up, there's always someone guiding you one way or another, right? Fitness is no different.
I remember in tennis, like I loved playing tennis growing up, didn't have coaching, and only started getting coaching in tennis later on. And the problem was you play tennis for 10 years, then you start going to tennis camp, start getting a trainer, and first thing they tell you is you have horrible habits. Yeah, you're winning games. Yes, you're getting the ball over, but your grip sucks. So right away we need to change the grip, and now we have to change the mentality. The longer you have bad habits, the harder it is to break out of those habits and create good habits. And this is where when the younger we get somebody in and we teach them those good habits earlier, the more likely they are to sustain them and grow. Think about how soon Tiger Woods got his coaching from the time he was born, basically. Think of like pianists, chess players. All those prodigies, one of the things that they shared in common was they had good coaching from a young age. They didn't have bad habits into their adulthood and then shifted. Very few of us are born with good habits, Barak. I can't see it. If you don't know, you just do what feels natural to you. But just because it feels natural doesn't mean it's going to bring you to the top. And this is where we got to sometimes get out of that comfort zone in order to get ahead.
Look at I don't know if you read the book Atomic Habits, right? There was one thing in there that really resonated with me when he said, he was talking about the bicycle team in England, about the Tour de France. And they were always losing until they brought in a proper coach and he tweaked anything from the mattresses they slept on, the kind of clothes they wore, the kind of, like everything dissected down to the bottom. And then they started winning nonstop, right? Same thing happened to me. I signed up to this lifting class to learn the mechanics and like the forms and everything else. And the coach, Coach Skylar, we're starting the class. She's like, okay, everybody take a PVC pipe. I'm like, PVC pipe? I'm like, let's do like 200 pounds. Come on, like what's going on? She's like, oh yeah, you want to doubt me? No problem. She humbled that living hell out of me with just one small little PVC pipe. And that made me realize like, holy, like how much when you have that bad habit, and now you're trying to tweak it to make it better, that transition part, holy, does it hurt. So yeah, if you can catch it from the foundation, if you get a proper guidance, get the proper coach, you're going to avoid that transition. You can actually learn proper and growth, right? There's nothing worse than having bad habits, especially in fitness worlds, causes nothing but pain, injuries, the results, like you're thinking you're getting ahead and you're not, and then you're getting frustrated with yourself. It's not so much about like the physical pain, it's the emotional pain. Like, been doing CrossFit for 5 years and I can't do a single pull-up. What the heck, right? And it's like, well, have you really tried all the progressions? Have you tried this? Have you tried that, right? Some people go into fitness, and I see it all the time in gyms. Sorry to say, but men more than women have this huge ego, right? And that's our biggest enemy. Come out with a huge ego, like, what do you mean? I can easily do this weight. And then you can see their form. They're struggling, but they're trying to keep up. Ego needs to stay out. Leave it somewhere else. Don't bring it into the gym. Be open-minded to taking in the notes and taking people's advices. That's what's going to help you grow.
Some of my best training sessions, it's funny, I think of it in two ways. Number one, it's how I did everything else in my life leading up to that training session. So what do I mean? Was I drinking my water? Did I have a good night's sleep? Barak, when I go to the barber, I get groomed, you know? I go to my tailor, have the clothes fitted. I come into this training session. I had a good night's sleep. I'm hydrated, ate good amount of food and a good levels before my session. And I feel put together. Already, I'm in a different zone.
Yeah.
I already feel ready to go. And then number two, it's how much garbage do I have in my head before I start the class? So if I'm worrying about a class, oh no, so I have an appointment right afterwards. I hope they're not going to yell. I hope they're not upset about something. Da, da, da. I remember they said this. Did I offend them? You know, I start working up these stories in my mind. I think I have to go to the grocery store. Do I need milk? Do I not need milk? I think I have to get an oil change. When you start thinking about all that other stuff and you're about to lift, do you lift well or do you lift like shit?
Actually, it makes me angry enough to lift like crazy. If we go back to the last episode, we talked about real estate and everything else. And
Yes.
one of the biggest things you said, the stress, the anxiety, and all that, right? When I go to the gym,
Yeah.
before I start my class, I have it all up to here. Literally, it's like up to the roof. Even my wife can tell me in the morning, she's like, you look so upset. So this. I get to the gym with all that in my head. I just take it all out on the barbell.
Oh.
All right.
okay.
And it's just like, sometimes I'll scream it out. And like, there's something about like screaming and letting it go. Right. One of the I do breath works. Right. And one of the things they do in the breath work is like, you know, you hold it all in, you exhale, and then you hold your breath for a minute without anything in your body. And then you breathe in, and then it says, let it go with an ah, right? Like vibrations. But something about like when you, it's like, it lets it go, right? So whatever I have in my mind, all of a sudden it's just gone. By the time I'm done my workout, I come out of there a fresh person, smiling, laughing, joking, like nothing happened. Everything is good. Like my batteries are fully recharged.
Interesting.
It's meditative to me almost.
Everybody's got a different system, you know, like, you know Hulk Hogan, the wrestler from back in the
Of
day?
course.
So when we're doing, let's say, 3 sets of bench, right? And I do set 1 and it goes okay, but you know what? I misjudged a bit. I didn't give it enough credit. So I struggled a little bit. Come to set 2, I'm a little more prepared. So now I'm pushing a little harder. I know the intensity I need, but I'm saving something in the tank. What we do is we Hulk up for set 3. The same way Hulk Hogan, when he was a wrestler, he would get beaten the whole match, and then he'd start to Hulk up, get the adrenaline going and that fire intensity in his eyes, right? And then I'm benching like it's nothing. It feels like it's 5 pounds, but you can't Hulk up too early, otherwise you burn through the... And so that's where I said, is this our last circuit? How many more sets do we have on this one? I just learned how much I have to have in reserve. Being a long distance runner back in the day, I learned like always leave something in the tank and finish off strong. And there's one expression I always have: last set, best set. I don't care what's in the tank. I don't care what we're doing. The last set has to be the best set.
Oh yeah. Whenever I motivate people, like I started coaching a little bit for a while, and then you know when it's like the last, it says like 1 minute left. I'm like, come on, 1 minute left. Give me all you got. I don't care. Take it out, all out of the tank. Push it. Go, go, go. And it's funny how you see all of a sudden people just go crazy. It's like all this workout, they're dying. You say that 1 minute, all of a sudden everybody's just like hulking up. Okay, let's go. I want to do it, right? It's like such a mental thing.
Stop the presses. Hold on a minute here. So we got Barak Elihis, the Forest Hill Aurora. We have realtor, husband, father, fitness guy, and now coach. You're coaching as well?
Yes, out of the wood. So
Wow. Tell me more. Tell me more.
A few months ago, they posted at Forest Hill at CrossFit Aurora Central that they're looking for coaches. I reached out to Michelle Fallis there, one of the owners. I'm like, okay, what does it take to be a coach? Like, what is it? She's like, you know what? You have I have the personality for it. She's like, you're so good with people and everything else. We can teach you how to become a coach. I'm like, you know what? I love that. I love fitness. I love CrossFit. I love the sport. Let's do that, right?
And running the business and everything
Yeah.
and family life, you had oodles of time. So obviously, you know.
No, so for me, coaching is not so much a career path. Yeah. And I said it to them as well. I'm like, look, I'm not looking to make, if it turns out into a huge career, great. I'll never say no to something. But it's more like some guys go golfing. I enjoy the coaching part. I find it fun. I find it fun, relaxing. I enjoy it. I talk to people. It's like that 1 hour I give someone their best hour of their day. But actually, they're giving it to me as the best hour of my day as well. That's how much I enjoy it. And people just don't know that. But also when I coach, it's usually outside my work frame. So it'll be like 5:45 in the morning or on a Sunday morning or something where it doesn't disturb with my business, my bread and butter, my family, my wife, my kids, and all that stuff. I love it though. Coaching is honestly, it's such a rewarding position. A lot goes into it, and more than people can imagine. There's a lot that you notice. There's a lot that you help, and when you help somebody, and all of a sudden you see like how like, okay, I got it, and you're like, yes, it's like you're so excited for them. It's a lot of fun. It really is.
I'm so happy because, man, when watching your progression, seeing how you literally shaved 20 years off your life, you look 20 years younger, your best self, and now you're helping others. Like, it doesn't get better than that.
No, I'm blessed. I'm grateful for the opportunities that people gave me and investing in me for being able to do what I do. I've always been grateful that nothing goes unnoticed, and it's fun. Like, it definitely changed my life around. Again, you saw me at my worst, and guys, like, again, honestly, I was 60 pounds heavier than what I am now, right? Like, I was a chubby guy, and I just had to fix my life. Like, I made myself promise that when I get to my 50s and 60s, I can still play with my kids. God willing, grandkids, or whatever the case is. Like, I'm not going to be that person where it's like, oh, I can't move, or it's hard, or this, or that. God willing, as long as everything stays the same, that's my path, is fitness, passion, the real estate, family. This is definitely where I see myself. I'm at a point in my life where pretty much taking a day off from the gym is harder than going to the gym.
We really are brothers from different mothers. I mean, Forest Hill, VSC, Vaughn Strength and Conditioning. And for me, it was in my 30s when I was almost 60 pounds heavier. And I saw a picture of myself. And that's when I started bawling out my eyes and realized, oh my God, I have progressed to this state. Like, how did this happen, And it takes a long time when you realize you're that rock bottom. It's very easy just to give up and say, you know what, I'm just going to keep eating. And, it's so easy not going to the gym and just watching TV and making that push. And I don't know how you have found it, but, I know your story in you and I talking about it. And, I haven't always told you about mine, but same thing as far as, getting injured at certain points. Life got busy with work, family, personal struggles, professional struggles, whatever it is. It's very easy to say, you know what, I'm going to take a little bit of time off now because I can't, and then I'll come right back. And I don't know if you find it, but I found it, the longer I stayed away, the harder it was each time to come back.
Yeah.
And once I was there, I said, I'm never leaving again. Did you find the same struggles?
It happened. Like, it definitely happened where it's like, you get sick or something and you're like, I don't have it in me to go back. Or it happened before I was with the VSC, and that's why I kept falling off the wagons a lot. Right? All of a sudden you go away and you come back, you're like, oh, I'm so out of shape. I think the biggest misconception people are having, the problem is that, you don't need to go all in right away. Even making those small little gains one step at a time. I don't care how old you are. There's someone at the gym here, I swear to you, Johnny, in his 90s. I think he's 92 if I'm not mistaken. He's at the CrossFit gym. Like, he's not doing barbells, but he's moving. He's doing stuff that his body allows him to do. Now, what excuse do you have in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s that when a 90-year-old is at a gym, right? It's not about going all out and going crazy. It's the small gains. Again, like in the book, they said, you know what? If you're in an airplane, right, heading to Washington, D.C., and the airplane deviates by a few degrees over to the right, you're going to end up in New York, right? Small gains now give you the huge results later. And that's what people need to remember. Don't go into the gym thinking, okay, I'm going to go 6 times a week. I'm going to do all this right now. And then next thing you know, in 2 weeks later, they're so burnt out, they can't do it. Small gains. Start with walking outside. Start with a little bit picking up the pace. Maybe a little bit of, weight. Go see the gym. They have programs for all types of people, so all types of shapes, sizes, ages, whatever the case is. But the biggest point is use your body. Don't let it rot. Use your body. Put it to something. You sitting at home and not doing anything, because look, most likely people that are 9 to 5, they're at home at the office. They're sitting, not doing much. Then they get in the car. From the car, they're going home. They're sitting at home, right? They'll go to sleep. They wake up into the car. A lot of people are missing out a lot on what their body's capabilities are.
But it's amazing, that person, that routine, right? And that non-active routine, as soon as, let's say, they incorporate half an hour walking into their day.
That's it.
Even twice a week, 3 times a week. Add an extra glass of water, just 1 glass of water every single day. Yeah. Go to bed an hour earlier, whatever it is. These little It's not all about being Mr. Olympia overnight.
Exactly.
You just do little tweaks, In my book, when I talk about that in the 6 Commandments, main thing is I talk about the 10 misconceptions for each why you think it's not important, and then how to slowly incorporate in your life. Every time I always went hard in right away. Like I said, I'm going to the gym 6 days a week. I could barely walk 2 weeks later, and then I got to take a month off the gym. When I started going once a week, and then slowly twice a week, and then built up to the point where it's 3 times a week. You know what? For somebody who's not active at all, 3 times a week and consistently 3 times a week, I think that's way bigger than going to do a boot camp for 2 weeks and then not being active at all for 3 months.
100%.
Like, this is the thing, Barak. Like, in our society, like, I was reading an article 2 days ago, and it talked about the fact that we are working on pills right now that can replicate the effects of the gym, so you don't have to go to the gym, and the pill will replicate for your body and work your metabolism and work the proteins and all that in your body. Just go to the gym. Just go to the gym.
But what they don't disclose, but this pill may also do blah, 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 blah.
It'll probably destroy your liver, but other than that, it's great.
Guys, honestly, there's no ways to cheat around it. Don't try to circumvent the system. Your bodies are meant to move. They're meant to be pushed. They're meant to be out there. I mean, back before anything, before time was time, people, human beings were used to go barefooted and just run and walk, and everything was mobile, like, but your body, we need to reuse that. Your bodies are incredible tools that can be used in so many different ways that people are not taking advantage of. And it's really sad, right? Again, going to a gym, like you said, 3 times a week. Go outside for a walk, 30 minutes at night. Every time you wake up in the morning, glass of water with a little bit of salt. Just a little bit. It changes your life around. Sleep, water, all that kind of stuff that how's it really going to help me? Huge gains.
And you know what's funny? We talked about realtors last week and how the real estate game works, right? I know realtors, Barak, that they belong to a gym, they belong to a country club, they play tennis, they play golf, they're active, they're on a soccer team. And know what's funny enough? A lot of their business comes from networking. And how do we network? We gotta be around people. When I started off in yoga, and I was going every single day at one point to my yoga studio, and eventually I was the lawyer to all the yogis. It's amazing. And I was never selling myself. You become friends with people. You see them all the time. Yeah. What do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? And eventually they just reach out to you. It's funny how taking care of yourself and networking helps your business as well.
Huge. Helps it massively. And it's funny, to that point, at my gym, I actually did put up an ad right by the main area, and with a picture of me going like this and smiling. And my friends of mine, whenever, when they work out and they're dying on the floor and they look up and they see me do that, they just hate me even more.
But they love it.
But I love it. No, it's true. It's every gym, especially when you're in group fitness, it becomes a community. You come into a setting where people are like-minded. People want to get better. They want to get healthier. They want to get ahead one way or another. That's why I'm a huge believer in the group fitness areas. I love that. When you're in group fitness, you have people helping you out. Sometimes the coach might be busy with somebody, but the next member can help you. And it truly becomes a big community, right? Whether it's CrossFit or Airlock or any other gym out there that has group fitness, honestly, I think that's a really, really good way of getting your foot through the door. Sure, they're not as cheap as out there, but I tell you one thing, it's a lot cheaper than any medical bill you'll ever have to pay to take care of your body later, or hiring help because you can't move around or anything like that. You fork out that, whatever, $200 a month, it'll be a lot cheaper than anything else you're going to pay down the road. That's for sure.
So as we end today's episode, I got to ask you, Barak, that person today listening in, and let's say they're on their couch right now, they might have a bag of chips, and they're like, I remember what I was or what I could be, and I've always wanted to do it. I want to get started. I know what I tell people. What do you tell people? Like, if they're saying, you know what, I think I'm ready, I want to take the leap, I want to start taking care of myself, I want to get into fitness, where do you advise them to begin? Honestly, just whatever that kind of pops into your head, and if that makes sense. The hardest thing for people to do is to go into a gym or to just even step out. Take that first step, just to go into that setting that you think works best for you. Even if it's walking outside, just go out for a walk. Don't overthink it. Don't think about, oh my God, I gotta get this run and this done. There's always gonna be something popping up in your schedule. There's always gonna be something.
And that something is more times not an excuse. Just shut it off. If you're on that couch right now and you want to get into it, just get up, get dressed, go out for a walk. Start small, gain big. That's the best thing ever.
And I'll throw in my one tip, and you're gonna love this. I know where I always used to get stuck. It was, I'm gonna go tomorrow. I'm gonna go tomorrow. Tomorrow comes. I'll go tomorrow. I'll go next week. When I started putting my workouts, my fitness, whether it was playing tennis, going for a run, going to the gym, whatever it was, when I put it in my calendar and I made myself the appointment. So I'm on a Friday. I look at my calendar for the following week. I'm gonna work out 3 times that week, and I put it in my calendar and I slot it. It's like a doctor's appointment. When it's in the calendar, it's going to get done. So for those people that are procrastinating or saying, I don't know where to begin, just put it in your bloody calendar, and guess what? You'll actually show up.
Yeah.
I think that's the difference
Just
maker.
take that first step. Just make that first step, and that's your first step to a new life. It's the best way to see it.
Your chosen life. And we're going to stay back
There you
next
go.
week because we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how to get that motivation. What's the secret to motivation, how to sustain it, and how to grow it. This has been the Chosen Life Podcast.
See you next week.